On today's CHGO White Sox post-game show, we're partying like it's 2005 because the 2025 team kind of sucks. Presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use the code CHGO365 when you sign up. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. I already said that again. I said that twice. Who cares? Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. I'll say it 3 times. I got a fun story. It's somebody meeting me at Sox Park today and me shaking their hand 4 times for no reason because I'm not used to people introducing themselves to me. I'm Sean Anderson, your CHGO White Sox host. That is Joey Christopoulos, my producer.
Happy Sunday, Sean.
Happy Sunday, Joey. Sox lose 6-5 in 10, though. So, hey, you know, it wasn't like the Guardians walked all over us. Hit that thumbs up button. Hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. We are excited to have you here at the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. We were at the game today. By we, I mean I. We'll be unboxing the 05 Hurlers bobblehead. Let's go. We'll be talking about the 6-5 loss to the Guardians. We'll be talking about the entire weekend against the Guardians. Then we will get into some 05 stuff. And then to wrap up the entire show, we'll be talking about the MLB Draft, which happens tonight. The White Sox are selecting at 10 overall. They will also be selecting at 44th overall. I believe rounds 1 through 4 are happening tonight. So at least there's going to be 4 Sox picks. I think it's, 10, 44, 76, and then something else. So we'll have 4 new White Sox tomorrow. We'll have a show tomorrow for you, so we'll be recapping the first round tomorrow. We'll also be recapping the entire first half for you on tomorrow's show. We'll be having a show today. We'll be having a show Monday, and we'll have a show on Wednesday. Wednesday's a fun one. We're going to be recording that with Stephen Nicholas, the Bears producer, former White Sox producer. Joey will be producing that show. We'll be doing What If? All right, so all the beats this All-Star weekend are doing the top 10 what-if moments in their team's history. So we'll be doing the top 10 what-if moments in White Sox history. That will be coming out on Wednesday. So a fun week here on the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Make sure you are subscribing to the channel so you don't miss out. Sox lose today, 6-5. Let's get into it. Honestly, let's just start in the 6th inning because I think Will Venable could have pulled Aaron Civale a little bit earlier. They showed the graph, CHSN, showed the stat graphic that detailed the pitches thrown by each reliever over the past week. And while I understand that the bullpen has been overworked, you know, they don't end up pitching on Thursday and having a doubleheader on Friday. They end up playing on Saturday and Sunday. But you're about to hit a break. You're about to have 5 days off. I don't understand why they didn't go and pull Civale earlier because this is easily a game that the Sox should have won. Melissa was at the ballpark today. She said it was a fun weekend despite the losses. This one easily could have been a win. Sox had the lead 3-0 heading into the 5th. And then in the 6th inning, Aaron Civale gets into issues. He was around 82 pitches when I thought they could pull him, but they just never did until he gave up a home run to Kyle Manzardo. A little bit too late. It ends up starting off with a Rodriguez ground out to third, then a Rocchio double to center, then Quan walks, then Jones walks. So the bases are loaded. The Rocchio double, it deflected off Colson's glove, so it could have possibly been an out there. But you know they're able to get past it anyways. Bases are loaded. Ramirez then grounds into a fielder choice at first. Rocchio scored, making it 3-1. I thought they should have pulled him before Civale got the chance to face Ramirez. I mean, he was even facing Nolan Jones and was just trying to pick the outside edge consistently. It didn't seem like a guy that trusted his stuff to the point where he could throw anything into the zone and get Jones to swing and miss. He was able to get him swinging and missing on a sinker to make it a 3-2 count, but after that, cutter, and then a sinker that missed. I just didn't like the idea of sticking with Civale against J-Ram, the guy that has beaten us consistently throughout his entire career. I didn't like the idea of Civale pitching there because Altavilla comes in, ends up getting Santana striking out to end the inning. I wonder if you go to a more fresh pitcher, a more confident pitcher in Altavilla, if he's able to at least keep it to a sub 4-3 game. Like if it's 3-2 going to the bottom of the sixth, maybe you have a little bit better of a chance. In the bottom of the sixth, though, Andrew Benintendi homered to make it 4-4, which was nice to see. And then in the top of the eighth, J-Ram comes back. It's a sac fly to center. One of the worst throws you've ever seen from Luis Robert Jr. Not even that deep. And he ends up, coming in, throwing a crow hop. And it was just way too hard and way too off to the right. Like he ends up throwing it kind of up the third baseline. So Quan easily slides in, making it a 5-4 game. Robert kind of redeems himself in the bottom of the eighth. After Caro doubled and then Benintendi was intentionally walked, Robert doubled down the left field line. Just kept it fair and made it a 5-4 game. Vargas wasn't able to do anything. Stays 5-5 there, and then the Sox aren't able to do anything. It ends 6-5 after they get a runner on in the top of the 10th. I'm sorry. I think I ended up mentioning that a ball deflected off Colson's glove in the 6th. It was actually in the 10th. Fry reached on an infield single that deflected off Colson's glove, and then that moved the runner to third there. So it was first and third, and then that's what sets up the sac fly that ultimately ends the game. The interesting part of today's game, I think, is the second start at third base for Colson Montgomery. What we have seen is him look pretty good at shortstop. I think that was the one thing that I think I wasn't really sure on. I thought that if he was going to do well, he'd come up and hit, and obviously after the first 3 games against Colorado, he was absolutely fantastic. I think he was supporting a 500 average, but not all things that glitter are gold. And it's been, a struggle for Colson against Toronto and against Cleveland. Nothing that I'm too concerned about because so far he's been able to play shortstop. And he could hit like Jacob Amaya if he's playing okay shortstop, right? I mean, we've seen that the White Sox have put out terrible shortstops ever since Tim Anderson has fallen off the hill, right? Like we really haven't had anyone sticking at that position that looks interesting. Colson's defense at shortstop and a little bit even at third today. He made an interesting play where he throws it to Vargas and the ball's kind of up the first base line when Santana's running. So it wasn't like the cleanest of throws, but I could see that ending up being his final position. But what I have seen from 22-year-old is that Colson Montgomery, I think, could stick at shortstop, at least for 2 years or so. I think he might grow out of that position just because he is 6'4", and when he loses his speed, I don't think he will be as agile enough to play shortstop. But I like the flexibility of seeing him at third over the past couple of days. And still, even if he doesn't hit, which he hasn't since the Colorado series, I think that if he's able to play shortstop, like that's going to hide a lot of the deficiencies on offense. And hopefully, maybe it might take a month for him to get settled at the plate, but if he gets settled after a month, maybe we might start to see the first round potential that the Sox saw in 2021 from Colson Montgomery. So I think we're about 10 games in to his career. I think this is his 10th game. 10 games into his career. I give it a B-. I'll take a C. Anything above a C, I think, is a win. I think the fact that he's been this good defensively has been like the reason why he's getting a passing grade, because like the plate is kind of what I've expected, a little bit of pop, but he looks a little iffy, but I think he might be able to kind of clean that up.
But if you roll the clocks back just to the beginning of this season, him dealing with back issues, him going all the way back to Arizona, him remaking his swing, B- is actually a pretty good place for Colson Montgomery to be heading into the second half of the year. And as you mentioned, he's seen a little bit of third, but I think he's passed the smell test at short. Long term is a different situation. We're just talking about right now. So B- honestly is a positive for me.
Well, come 2026, I wasn't sure if he was going to be your opening day shortstop. And I'd honestly be kind of surprised if he wasn't your opening day shortstop to come 2026, because Bonnemer's not pushing him out. Seems like they want to keep Mintroff at second base, and I don't think he's a shortstop. I think he's got really good range, but I don't think he's got the arm to be a shortstop. I think that you should be excited to watch the second half of Colson, because Melissa even brings up. I feel like our bats have looked awful against a premier closer. That shows you how far we still have to go. Like Kyle Teal was late on those cutters by Class A. Sosa as well wasn't really able to time up those cutters. I mean, Melissa is absolutely right. But I feel like Colson and Teal as well, I think once August comes around, they'll be timed up a little bit more to the fastball. It seems like they are behind on most of Major League's fastballs, and I think that has to do with their leg kicks. And I don't think that their leg kicks have been timed up just yet. So I think that's something to look for in the second half is how Colson and Teal do against high velocity. But, overall, Sox played competitively. And for a 32-65 team heading into the first break, we'll take competitive. It wasn't a clean weekend. We'll take anything that's even close. Just looking at this entire weekend, the Sox were rained out on Thursday. They played a doubleheader with the Guardians on Friday. They lost the first half of that 4-2 and won the second half 5-4. They lost on Saturday 6-2, so they lose this entire series 3-1 against the Guardians. Leonard says, "Hi, just wanted to say that I successfully changed my car's cabin filter and front license plate while listening to the Sox lose another game, like they are what?
Like all the others.
Like all the others. So, yeah, there you go, Leonard. Hey,
multitasking.
If you're gonna be a degenerate White Sox fan, at least get something done, right? So, there you go. And Grumpy Pig and Friends saying Montgomery was bad in AAA, so we should expect him to get better in the bigs. I wish I had your optimism. Again, I'm not stupid. I'm not just looking at his stats in AAA. I'm looking at what he's done since the Arizona change, and he has done better against high velocity. That adjustment hasn't happened in the first 10 games. There's 60-something games that I'm going to have to watch. And even if he sucks, even if he's terrible, even if he can't hit a fastball, neither could Jacob Amaya. Neither could the guy that I can't even think of his name at this point, Amaya and then Capra. He's a better option, or at least a similar option to Capra and Amaya. He's just not 25. He's 22nd. So I'm just interested. Out of all of the 9 hitters for the White Sox, Colson is one of the more interesting players. Maybe he doesn't hit fastballs at all. Maybe he sucks. I don't know. But I think that, at least what you've seen, I'll give him a little bit more of a grace period. Because, again, it's 10 games. He's going to get the entirety of that rope, right? If they're calling him up in July, I don't see them calling him back down. He's going to get in the entirety of the rope, and if he's able to play defense that passes, you can hide him at the 8th or 9th spot and see if he can, develop and pick things up. So I'm not going to be too quick to judge. That's what I'll say about Colson is I'm not going to be too quick to judge. Because, now people are doing it with Grant Taylor too. And, he didn't have his best of games. Ends up pitching in the 10th as well. Gives up a run. Or no, sorry, he pitched in the 8th. And ends up giving a run that made it 5-5. But, it's mostly about development this year. It's not about winning baseball games. And if that sucks as an answer, I'm sorry. I wish the White Sox were winning baseball games. Well,
that's when you change your car filter, you paint your house, right, and you do some home improvements while we lose 105 games and hopefully see some development.
Somebody who's a real estate agent on Twitter was saying, not that good of a show up for the 2005 team. And, you got 20,000 on Friday, you got 20,000 on Saturday, you got 20,000 on Sunday. That doesn't happen unless there's a great giveaway or Shohei Ohtani's in town. I hate to say it, but the state of the White Sox, 20,000 people to show up 3 straight days in a row is a good show up. This isn't a team with much interest because they are pretty bad. They're just not historically bad, which I'll take.
Yeah, honestly, that comment kind of makes me upset immediately. The fact that he's trying to pin the lack of interest in the 2005 team on the current state of the franchise and what it's been going on the South Side for the last 2 years. Come on, man!
You got 20,000 people showing up.
Yeah, that's I don't know. I'm not on board with that comment at all. I thought the crowds were nice.
I think they've had a full house once in the entirety past 2 years.
Well, yeah,
that was the Ohtani Mexican Heritage Night, which is massive storm of insanely proud Mexican people and Shohei Ohtani being in town. Of course you're going to sell out, but that's been the only sellout.
Yeah, do some proportional rates there, Mr. Real Estate Guy, of what the normal night looks like versus what this weekend was like. And this was a good, strong weekend. And I think a lot of people, I know you were there today, I think a lot of people were feeling good vibes. I know the baseball team isn't great. The product on the field isn't good right now, but this is part of the process, whether we like it or not.
Yeah, and let's go to Leonard's question real quick, or his comment saying, also, I'm very tired of playing just good enough to lose all these close games, which is good, I guess. It's better than last year is what I'll take. Last time I looked at the one-run game record for the White Sox, they were 5-20. So, yeah, that's not good, folks. So I think you're fair, Leonard, there saying that you're tired of playing those games because it hasn't been a fun experience watching the White Sox play close games because typically they just lose, right? We want to see those 8-4 victories because we know, leave no doubt, let's score some runs. Even when you score 5 runs today, you think that should be a win. But Sox pitching weren't able to hold back the Guardians. I do think that's a little bit unbendable. I think he should have pulled Savale a little bit quicker. We'll talk about the outfield in just a second. We will also talk about the 2005 weekend. We will unbox the 05 Hurlers bobblehead right here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, presented by Bet365, right after the break. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary is your home for judgment-free cannabis shopping, a place where all kinds of visitors, whether you're new or experienced to cannabis, are welcome to explore, discover, and purchase a wide array of high-quality products. If you are new, their lovely, kind bud tenders can help you through their expansive menu. If you have been around the block before, they have over 100 strains, whether they're indica, hybrid, or sativas, to make sure that you are relaxing the right way. Sunnyside is Illinois' favorite dispensary with locations in Wrigleyville and River North and in the suburbs like Champaign and South Beloit. Visit sunnyside.shop for bright buys every day, including 50% off your first 3 online purchases. Enter promo code HICHGO at checkout to qualify. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, bright buys every day, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. We also want to let you know about our friends over at Empire Today. 588-2300 Empire Today. Our friends over at Empire Today are the experts in flooring. If you are looking to upgrade your home this summer, Empire are the people to call. Don't try to DIY this yourself. Your floors can last forever. I watch a lot of HGTV, and what really is a selling point on most of these houses are the original floors. You can upgrade your home with floors that will last forever with our friends over at Empire. Empire has flooring experts who are dedicated and flooring professionals who focus on flooring every single day, so you don't have to worry about a buddy or yourself on picking the right choices and installing it in your home. Schedule a free in-home estimate today, because some things are better at home. CHGO listeners can receive a $350 off discount when using promo code CHGO. You heard me right, a $350 off discount with promo code CHGO. Restrictions apply. Visit EmpireToday.com/CHGO for full details. Back here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and subscribe button if you haven't already. I'm going to get to Kevin's question in just a second. I'm looking up the actual stats, though. He says, didn't they say in the broadcast on Friday's pregame, which I wasn't watching, so I didn't actually get this stat, to Jermaine Dye that the 2005 team won like 35 or 36 one-run games. Speaking of one-run games, we do have the breakdown on our friends from the 2005 team. In one-run games, they were 35-19. So
it's pretty good.
The White Sox won't even get to 19 wins this year in one-run games.
Well, just imagine what they held a lead, I think, in the 38 of their first 38 games. Is that right? I'm trying to think of that off the top of my head. To start off the year, they had some records, so forgive me, I'm thinking about the top, but it was like they held a lead in a game for 38 straight games to start the year. That's absurd. I wish we had a team like that. It's a good start.
We unfortunately don't. All right, we'll get to Leonard's question in a second, because I do want to talk about the outfielders on this team. But let's get into the 05 celebrations that did happen today, because Melissa mentions was at all 3 games. The crowds and fans were very engaged. I was pretty excited about the turnout today. This 05 Hurlers bobblehead almost wasn't mine. I walked in at about 12 o'clock. Gates open around 11:40. The lines had died down, so they were more typical lines when you were walking in, about 10 people deep, right? Nothing too crazy, especially I usually walk in on gate 5. That's my preferred side. I think that gate 5 is usually the easiest, and gate 5 was about 10 people in line. Just had to wait through that, and I get through the line, yada, 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 get through the metal detectors, and to the right of me, there's a woman handing out bobbleheads. And straight ahead, the person is out of bobbleheads in their box. So I was like, oh, hey, I'll reach over and be like, hey, can I get one? That sounds good. The security guard that let me in, scanned my ticket, said, no, that's for the other line. And I'm like, all right, so I give her back the bobblehead. I had one in my hands.
Oh, my God, you're too good of a person.
Back to her. I need to follow the rules. I don't want to get kicked out. I guess just what's the worst case scenario is I get kicked out and I don't have to, spend money at Wright Field.
Well, you also could have went, hello, CHGO White Sox, Sean Anderson.
Stop it. We're not doing that. No. We're not. First of all, that has 0 pull. So no, we're not acting like I'm a big shot. Absolutely not. So anyways, I stand back because these poor people working the lines are just flooded with people. I saw a woman, and hey, lady, if you're a White Sox listener, maybe you are a diehard, but you should be ashamed of how you acted. When they said they were out of bobbleheads, there were 2 other people with you, and I believe one of them was your son, because he seemed young enough to be your son. He was about my age. and you screamed, "This is all your fault. This is on you." It's like, whoa. And of course, when they bring out a whole rack of boxes of bobbleheads, she's the first one to get one because she's screaming and complaining. I had a little bit of a panic attack because they came out with more boxes, but they weren't letting people that had already gotten through bobbleheads. It was only the people that were, coming in actively. So I got a little bit iffy that I wasn't going to get a bobblehead. So I end up seeing this guy a little bit closer to the garbage cans, and I end up going up to him and just like, "Hey, had one in my hands. I'm not trying to be a pest to nobody. Like, can you hook me up if there is one? Like, could you get me one?" And he's like, "Yeah, I'll see what I can do." And shout out to Deshaun. If Deshaun from the Gate 5 infield, or anyone who is Deshaun's boss from the
we
Gate 5
love
infield,
Gate 5.
We love Gate 5. We love Deshaun. Deshaun should be made assistant general manager. Because Deshaun, when I was about to walk away, your boy Sean was about to just completely give up. I see another round of boxes come out, and Deshaun points at me. He goes over, and he hands me this beautiful box of 05 hurlers, the 4-piece bobblehead of Buerhle, Garland, Garcia, and Contreras. I do want to make an amendment as well. I feel like I said Garland wasn't a part of this 4, and that's why they had Garland throw out a first pitch earlier in the year. For some reason, I forgot he was a part of the 4 that threw the complete games in the ALCS. So that's on me. That's just poor memory. But it's very cool. Obviously, you got the picture of the bobblehead on the back. You got the kind of detailing saying, like, these are the 4 pitchers to ever throw 4 consecutive complete games in the postseason for a single team. They have the names on the side as well, and then overlaid on the actual names. Like Buerhle, it says 56. Garland says 20. Garcia, 34. Contreras, 52, et cetera, et cetera. There's no et cetera because we're over. And then on the back, there's like kind of a fake card that's been graded and in a like card protector that says it's a gem mint photo. But the one thing that does bug me, and as somebody that is a stickler, it goes Buerhle, Contreras, Garcia, and then Garland.
That's not the order they went in the series.
Not the order they went in the series. Buerhle and Garcia have photos of the World Series logo on their hat. So these are used from the World Series, not the ALCS, where Contreras and Garcia don't have those hats. So it was just, again, I found it funny. It's just mainly me being a stickler, but this is easily the coolest bobblehead of the 4 of 6 that they're giving out on the Sunday series. Previously, it was Charles Comiskey, Dick Allen, Ray Durham, and then, this is the 4th one. So this would be the 4th. So this
here we go.
The Buerhle. So here we go. This is the full unboxing. And if you thought it was hard enough to keep one bobblehead head on all of these, just now wait until you have 4 to keep on straight and right. Beautiful by all 4 of them. We got Buerhle, Garcia, Garland, and Contreras. Absolutely wonderful. And you brought up the... Sorry, Joe. You've brought up the Buerhle one looking a little weird. It looks Buerhle-ish.
Just the mouth. I don't get the mouth, man. Maybe it was his beard when he was playing, so maybe there's something that I'm not realizing, but just it looks a little lighter mouth.
I'll say that. His beard looks a little bit blonder than I think it actually is. But yeah, we got all the 4 starters on their bobblehead, which is really cool. They all threw out the first pitch today to their sons or daughters, which is cool. And then Buerhle had a statue revealed on Saturday, and there was 15,000 replica statues given out, and then his daughter ends up throwing the first pitch. So
brought the heat. She brought the heat.
Yes, the Buerhle family was throwing out all the first pitches today. But yeah, there's the 4 side by side, 4 straight complete games for the 2005 ALCS. This is a masterpiece. This is lovely. So
wait, are you taking that home, or are you leaving that here?
Oh, we gotta leave that here. That's
okay.
The whole point. Come on.
All right.
I'll take it home once this place collapses. Once I'm fired, I'll take it home. But, yeah,
I'm just imagining, like, in your apartment, you and your wife, you have your TV. You probably have a nice, beautiful picture of the 2 of you right next to the TV, and you come home, knock that off the table because the 4 White Sox starters are going there in place.
The 4 horsemen are now
instead of our wedding photos
in place. And then Melissa mentioning that loved Garland with the Jenks jersey on all weekend. Yeah, that was absolutely fantastic. And let's get into some more of that 2005 reunion stuff just real quick before we do end up hitting the break. Our guy Mark Buerhle ends up leading as they were celebrating the team. Game times usually start around 1:10. The game on Saturday starts at 3:10 for about 2 hours of celebration for the 2005 team. And Buerhle did end up leading the toast to Bobby Jenks. So that was great to see. They now have a 45 behind the mound as well to remember Bobby. And then near the third base dugout with like right where the batter's on deck warming up circle is, there's a Bobby kind of 45 sign there as well. And there's a 45 patch on the jersey, which I thought was, a very, very, very tasteful tribute to Bobby. Absolutely terrible that he's not able to celebrate with his teammates, but the fact that his teammates are able to celebrate him is what's most important. The fact that Bobby Jenks will never be forgotten by that 05 team and will never be forgotten by Chicago is what's most important. I don't think that 45 should be retired, but also, why not at this point? I mean, I don't know. I love Bobby Jenks, and it's just such a sad entire moment. The fact that he was literally 1 week out from possibly just being able to see that, right? I don't think he'd be able to make the trip from Spain to the U.S., but you just wish that he was able to hold out to just see those guys celebrate him and even like toast him in the moment. It just sucks that Bobby wasn't able to make it to that point.
That is an interesting, larger question. Now that we've had this 2005 celebration reunion, out of the handful of players, Konerko, Buerhle, maybe even Ozzie, you see any of those numbers being retired in the next couple of years?
Well, Konerko's retired.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
But
Buerhle or
Buerhle's
Ozzie.
Burley's retired.
When did they retire Burley's?
Burley's was like 17 or whatever.
Oh, 17?
Yeah,
okay.
They did it like right after he was done retiring. But anyways, yeah. So we'll get to that in a second. Let's get to Konerko because Konerko also had a moment. They're celebrating the 2005 team, and someone who wanted to celebrate was the Pope. So Paul Konerko got a signed Pope Leo XIV jersey that also had Konerko above Pope Leo XIV. Jared Willis, our CHGO baseball writer, was able to talk to Paul Konerko, and here is Paul Konerko on receiving that jersey from the Pope.
Today. I mean, over the last few months, especially when all that went down, I got a lot of text messages and a lot of there was a lot of back and forth with people. It's obviously really cool. I mean, the fact that he was here when we played the World Series, and I saw some footage a couple of weeks ago where he's wearing a White Sox hat, at the Vatican. Like that's, who would have thought that? That's pretty cool. So it's kind of surreal. I'm sure my mom will have some opinions on it in terms of the meaning of it and that I need to get back to church, but we'll deal with that as it comes.
He signed it for you, right? It's his signature.
His signature's on there and all that. And allegedly, I got to sign one later to send back to him. I'm not sure he's excited for mine to get there instead of around, but I'll return the favor for sure.
I mean, it's kind of tough though, like Paul Konerko's signature compared to the Pope probably isn't like equal trade, but because he is the Pope from Chicago that was at Game 2 of the World Series, might mean a little bit more, I mean, like, again, did he pick 14 because of Paul Konerko? We'll never know.
Well, don't tell me for 1 second that our wonderful Pope didn't lay his head on a pillow one night and when he was drifting off to sleep went, man, Paul Konerko's so good.
Yeah, well, it was either that or Pope John Paul the 56th. So there you go. Kevin M in the chat saying one more thing, that was the most one-run game won for a team ever since the 2016 Rangers, who won 36 one-run games. So there's an 11-year gap until a team even won that many one-run games. So the 2005 White Sox were extremely unique. Final two things I want to get to real quick. Mark Buerhle's statue was unveiled on Friday. On Sunday, the lines starting at like 12:40 were so long for people to get pictures with that Buerhle statue, to the point where they had a security guard standing there taking photos for people. So that's probably a real great day for the security guard, not having to work the gate, and all you have to do is just take photos of very, very excited people taking pictures with the Buerhle statue. The statue itself is phenomenal. I'm not too shocked as well to see him in a road jersey. I kind of made that call about a week ago that it seemed like just due to the CHSN commercials where he was throwing in a road White Sox jersey, that's why it would be something related to the World Series where he ends up getting that save in Game 3. But they did have a video of that like same kind of fitting of where they were going to build and model the statue of Mark Buerhle, and he says something, oh, no, it doesn't feel like it's that too long ago. It doesn't feel too bad. Mark, you want to joke? Mark, you want to play around? Mark, You got about 56 career WAR. I'm just saying, if you come back and throw another 200 inning pitch season, it's probably an easy ticket into Cooperstown. We don't have that built out of a rotation for 2026, so if you want to come back, you can come back, Mark Buerhle. I don't think anyone would be mad. 56 is there waiting for him. No one's worn it since.
I was going to say, CHGO White Sox fans, adjust your clocks. That postgame will no longer be at 4:15. It'll now be at 3 o'clock because Mark Buerle's pitching. And the game is going to be an hour and 25 minutes.
Do not joke, Mark, because I'd have your ass back on the south side in a second. He still throws 87. That was one thing that Caro said, too. He was catching Jose Contreras in spring training, said Contreras still throws 90. So, I mean, hey, Mark, come on. Let's go.
That tracks.
We'll take a break. We got to talk about Bobby Jenks a little bit more. I just got a photo from the actual park today that I want to talk about. We'll talk about some outfielders that may be traded, and we'll talk about the White Sox draft pick that's coming up later tonight for the 2025 MLB Draft pick. We got to let you know about our friends over at Mint Mobile. You know what doesn't belong in your epic summer plans? Getting burned by your old wireless bill. Whether you're planning beach days, 3-day vacations or weekends, or barbecue trips, your wireless bill should be the last thing holding you back. Get that extra pack of burgers, right? Get that extra pack of American cheese because you have Mint Mobile. We've made the switch here at CHGO, and right now, for a limited time, Mint Mobile is offering 3 months of unlimited premium wireless service for $15 a month. So while you and your friends are sweating over overages and surprise changes, you'll be chilling both literally and financially with our friends over at Mint Mobile. You can use your own phone with any Mint Mobile plan and bring your own phone number along with your existing contacts. You're just ditching the overpriced wireless and getting 3 months of unlimited service for $15 a month. New customer offer with $3 a 3-month unlimited wireless plan for just $15 a month. Upfront payment of $45 required. Limited time new customer offer for 3 months only. Speeds may slow above 35 gigabits on unlimited plan. Taxes and fees extra. Visit mintmobile.com/White Sox. That's mintmobile.com/White Sox. And it is extremely hot and sunny. I'm sweaty here in Chicago, but thankfully I don't stink. And I don't stink because of our friends over at Mando. From head to toe, I smell great because of our friends over at Mando. It was created by a doctor who saw how firsthand normal BO was being misdiagnosed and mistreated. Now, instead of putting on your regular run-of-the-mill deodorant that, after 12 hours of use, you'll have a stinky grundle, right? With Mando, no stinky grundle after 12 hours, all right? That's those words, not mine. They literally say 12 hours after a shower. The average man grundle order level was 5 out of 10. With Mando, it's 0 out of 10. So get to that 0. Please support them and tell them we sent you. Shop at mando.com for 20% off site-wide and free shipping. That's code CHGO at shopmando.com, shopmando.com. Please tell them we sent you, and smell fresher, stay drier, and boost your confidence from head to toe with our friends over at Mando. Back here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Appreciate everyone hanging out with us in the chat. Make sure you hit that thumbs up button and make sure you're subscribing to the CHGO Sports YouTube channel. Before we end the 05 talk, 2 more things I want to talk about. First of all, let's get to the Bobby Jenks thing because the trophy was actually there, which was very, very cool. So fans got to take photos with the 05 trophy, and on the line to the actual trophy, there were the opportunity for fans to sign posters with Bobby Jenks's 45 and a photo of Bobby kind of pumping up and celebrating. It's an animation, though. It's not like the actual photo of him. I'm assuming that this will go to his actual family. So how cool that, White Sox fans get to let the Jenks family know that, this guy meant so much to us. They'll have 2 massive, and it might end up being 3 just because, look how filled those 2 things are. I really do think that this is just a really nice gesture from the White Sox fans. I love seeing this, just people getting in line to take a picture with the 05 World Series and just leaving a little bit of a note for Bobby Jenks and his family. So great to see his family there as well. I believe he was there they were there on Saturday to be a part of the celebration. So you wish Bobby could be there in some way, shape, or form, or at least be able to see it. But still great that they're able to keep him in their thoughts and memory, and it's great to see. Final thing, John Greenberg shared a kind of story that Ozzie Guillen, after every game with the White Sox, whether win or lose, would spend a ton of time with the players and their kids after every single game. And the one thing that has been shown consistently about Ozzie Guillen is that this guy has a heart of gold. I think this man absolutely loves baseball, and he loves Chicago. And it seems like, over the 20 years since that 05 World Series championship, that Ozzie has done his absolute best to ingratiate himself to the Chicago fan base. He is easily the most beloved White Sox member of that 05 team, whether you think about it or not. Like, I think people love Paul Konerko. I think people love Mark Buerhle. But, like, Ozzie's Ozzie's. I mean, Ozzie has his own playing career that you can think about and be excited about. He's obviously the greatest manager of my life. And then he has the post-game / TV career after managing. And I think that he just shows that he cares so much about this entire organization and this franchise, to the point where you do see the Buerhle unveiling on Friday, and Jerry Reinsdorf is there. Jerry Reinsdorf's out with the 05 group. But Jerry is kind of unaware of where he was at a moment, or maybe just distracted. And you just see Ozzie with a ton of care, like this guy is his father, kind of corralling Jerry to get back into the picture. And I just see that there's so much patience with Ozzie, with that man. And I understand, Ozzie might not have the life that he has without Jerry Reinsdorf. So he owes a lot to that man, or at least that's what I'm thinking Ozzie does. But still, to owe a lot to that man, take like that level of care of him, I've just been impressed with Ozzie Guillen. And I think Melissa said it in the chat, just, kind of echoing what she said. We've said it before on this podcast. The next person to have their jersey retired should be Ozzie Guillen. If you want to be cute, it could be Jose Abreu to be the 12th jersey retired, and then you retire the 13th jersey being 13. Like, that could be cute, but what are we waiting for? I mean, at the end of the day, Ozzie Guillen should be honored by the Chicago White Sox, and he should be honored with Jerry Reinsdorf there. I think that's somebody that he would be really grateful to have there at the opportunity of his jersey retirement. I don't see a way or a world where his jersey isn't retired. I think in the next 40 years, we'll see 13 be up in the banners. I don't understand why the White Sox haven't done that yet.
He's been in the White Sox community for 5 decades, dude. He was a player in the 80s,
right,
90s, then a manager in the 2000s, and then obviously now he's been around the team the 2010s and 2020s. I mean,
when did
come
he
on.
start with on postgame? Like, that must have been like 2015, right? Like, he must have left the mark. Like, he's been on TV for 10 plus years.
Yeah,
I don't know. It's
and he's an ambassador. He literally
right.
leads the charge for all things White Sox.
Melissa says it's disappointing if they don't retire his number. It's disgraceful. It's horrendous if they don't. If they don't retire his number.
Is there maybe now we're getting out there, and you could shoot this one down. Is there a reason why maybe his number hasn't been retired yet? Is because there was a part of him that maybe wanted to manage this team at some point over the last 10 years?
Maybe. I think if they offered him the job today,
like pick up the red phone, and Ozzie.
I don't hate that thought process, but maybe it is the whole thing that, like, you don't want to throw in the towel yet. I do want to go to Grumpy Pig and Friends' comment here, because we'll get into this chat. Austin Slater hits a home run today. Robert with an RBI double. They did have a very unfortunate situation where in the top of the second, the two couldn't call off a fly ball, ended up colliding into each other. A very 2024 moment. Joey, I think we have the screenshot. This is from SoxFan_Jack. If I do have your tag wrong, I apologize, Jack. But here is Slater and Robert not calling off the ball for either each other, and Lenyn Sosa just looking on in horror as a ball falls into the outfield. That ball would fall and then lead to a Guardians double. Then thankfully, the next at-bat, it was a fly out right to Luis Robert Jr., where he gets a can celebration from the crowd like, yay, we can finally catch a fly ball, woohoo. I think, funnily enough, there's going to be 3 outfielders traded from this team. I think it's going to be Robert, I think it's going to be Slater, and I think it's going to be Michael A. Taylor. I think the idea that Beef Loaf has had of Tauchman, or was it Beef Loaf or James Fox? Tauchman has arbitration next year. This isn't going to be a guy that's a completely free agent. Like, he doesn't have the service time to be a 6-year MLB free agent. I think it's very possible that they keep Tauchman and just see if he can be a part of the team for next year. I think that they will trade a decent amount of their outfielders, but if they trade Tauchman, Taylor, Slater, and Robert, they won't have anyone to play. It'll be Will Robertson, who they just acquired from Toronto, Brooks Baldwin, and like Dominic Fletcher. I don't really want to see that. Maybe Miguel Vargas if they get real desperate. And maybe like Brian Ramos if they get real desperate. I don't think that's going to be the case. So if we're going to talk about guys that are going to be traded, I think Slater's a possibility. I think Robert's a definitely. And then I think that you could probably throw Taylor in there just because he does bring pretty decent defense consistently from the outfield. Grumpy Pig and Friends says, though, worst offense in baseball, going to get worse after the deadline, and
cannot fix the offense in one offseason. 100 losses easy next year. Don't be a homer. Be realistic.
Buddy, I don't know where I said that the Sox weren't going to lose 100 games in 2026. Like, I mean, I don't think that this is really going to clear or find that clearing until the Ishbias take over. I don't think that you're going to see an acceleration from this team until 2027. Like, I know that the Ishbias can't take over until 2029, but you won't see an injection of cash into this team until 2027. They need to let Benintendi expire. They need to let Robert expire. I do not see them being able to flip this team for 2026 to, under 100 losses. Maybe it's like 95 losses. Maybe they're able to be like competitive enough to be under 100. But I mean, next year their loss projection should be 59.5, and it's more just like over or under. Are they going to be at 58 or are they going to be at 60? I don't see that this team, clicks at any part. I mean, they don't have a first baseman. The catcher position isn't clear. They have two guys that could be the catcher, but I don't think, it's kind of, you have two catchers, you don't have catcher at all. They're two highly thought of prospects, but, Caro's great. I think he's the major league or the AL leader in batting average versus lefties, but I think that's like a minimum of a certain amount of plate appearances. And then Teal too, like there's nothing about Teal that's saying like he's the guy. First base is completely open. Seems like second base could be Mydroth, but Mydroth's been pretty terrible over the past month. Same thing with Vargas at third. Vargas has been all right, but also pretty terrible in the past month. Montgomery at short, he is a question mark. I mean, at most, I think you'll get 2 years from him at shortstop until he has to move over to third base. Who the hell's playing left field? Who the hell's playing center field? Who the hell's playing right field? I mean, Montgomery maybe, but like this team will easily lose 100 losses or easily lose 100 games in 2026. So if you think I'm being a homer, feel free.
I think what's getting confused about this a little bit is, and look, this is about how you want to ingest your sports, and I completely understand that. But for White Sox fans right now that are feeling really, really down about everything, you have to keep in mind that if you want to be the fan that just wakes up one day and goes, hey, how did this happen? All of a sudden, the White Sox are good again in 2028. Go for it. Knock yourself out. But if you are a true White Sox fan, and dude, you are one of the best analysts in the game, listen to me. You got to take the compliment when I give it to you.
Work with me. You have my phone number, so I'm going to take it with a grain of salt.
But you have to understand that a lot of people and a lot of White Sox fans are interested in the development, in the small steps, in the beginning part when things are tough and rough. Sometimes these guys make it and sometimes they don't, but if some of these players make it, it feels so good as a fan to say, wow, I was there at the very beginning. We saw it happen and we saw it grow before our very eyes. And there's a big difference in just how you want to fan with that.
The real point of this, too, is, like, will they hit? Montgomery doesn't need a hit this year. Montgomery just needs to get acclimated to major league level. They have 6 years of control. So if Montgomery ends up hitting in his fourth year, that's still a win. Even if he's ass for 2025, 2026, and 2027, if he's able to show something in 2028, that's all that matters. You have 6 years of service time until a player becomes a free agent. They just have to hit in those 6 years. And right now, there isn't an amount of talent like pushing these guys out of those places. Bonnemer's coming up, but Bonnemer's in advanced A, I think. Or he's still an A-ball, right? Like, there's no actual breathing down of the neck on Colson Montgomery that's happening. So the Sox are losing 100 games next year. Maybe they're lucky to lose like 95. But I don't really see this team having that miraculously of a 2026 where they're not losing 100 games. Like, this will be 3 straight years of losing 100 straight. You went from the worst team in baseball to trying to be something respectable. It's going to take a lot more than 2 years. And Sam Roberts asking, keeping Benintendi. The homer today was nice. Ends up going lefty-lefty. He's done that a decent amount, but I don't think at $15 million you're going to be able to convince a team to put that guy in the outfield. I don't think that Benintendi is ultimately going to have enough value because the power isn't intriguing enough and the defense isn't intriguing enough. If the bat was a little bit more interesting, maybe, but the big issue too is there's another year of Benintendi. If he was just this year, kind of like Robert, where they have the team option, then maybe they'd be able to deal Benintendi. But there really isn't a team that I think would take on $25+ million for Andrew Benintendi at this point. And even if the White Sox were able to eat like 7 of that, I don't think they're taking on that 18 for next year of Benintendi. So I think Benintendi ends up staying. Let's get into the most important part of today. Tonight, the MLB Draft is happening. The Nationals have the number 1 overall pick. We are going to talk about what could happen for the White Sox. What I'm hoping for is no specific player. I want a player type. I want a prep player. Mainly a prep shortstop, just because the history of prep shortstops is those are the most athletic players on the field, and they have the opportunity that if they can play shortstop, they can really play anywhere in the major league level. If you want to go to the Jim Callis MLB Draft and Jonathan Mayo mock drafts, this is from MLB Pipelines, just to give you 2 mock drafts of some notable insiders, Jim Callis and Jonathan Mayo of MLB.com. They both have Cade Anderson going number 1 to the Nationals. They both have Liam Doyle of Tennessee going 2 to the Angels. They both have Seth Hernandez, a prep pitcher, going to the Mariners at 3. They both have Ethan Holiday going to the Rockies at 4. They both have Eli Willits, former son, or I guess he's not the former son, still son of former
current son
player. I think it was Jeff Willits. 6, they have, Callis has Billy Carlson going to the Pirates. Avia Arquette going to the Pirates for Jonathan Mayo. Then you could flip those. The Marlins taking Avia Arquette for Callis at 7. Then Carlson going to the Marlins at 7. Then you have Jamie Arnold going to the Blue Jays for both of them. Ike Irish going to the Reds for both of them. And then JoJo Parker going to the Sox at 10. I think that this is best case scenario. From what I've heard, JoJo Parker seems to be extremely athletic, 6'2", 200 pounds. Unsure if he'll be able to stick at shortstop for the entirety of his career. But what not only you've heard from Major League insiders, but also Kylie Daniel of ESPN, is that the White Sox like JoJo and his brother Joseph. Or Jacob, I'm sorry. So JoJo is Joseph, and then Jacob is his brother. They're both eligible 2025 draft prospects. Kylie Daniel of ESPN is saying that the White Sox like both of them. The projection for his brother is that they'd go around 81. The Sox have the 77th pick. So, fingers crossed. I think the funnest story, the most fun that we could have on draft night tonight, is if the Sox take JoJo Parker at 10 and then somehow get his brother Jacob Parker at in the 3rd round. Fingers crossed, that would be the coolest, most fun story out there possible.
Old school board games. Parker Brothers.
Yeah, right. Hey, there you go. Play Monopoly. Come over. Buy
McDonald's should get involved. We should do a whole Parker Brothers Monopoly game with JoJo, and as they make their ascension.
Boardwalk Place.
Getting ahead of
myself.
myself.
Park Place.
Park Place. Yeah.
What's the other?
Well, we also Boardwalk. You had Boardwalk,
Was it
right?
just Boardwalk though?
I mean, I just remember getting out of jail, which is the important thing.
But the other name that is just people are interested in for the White Sox is that Billy Carlson name. If JoJo Parker does go before Carlson, that could be the name that falls to the White Sox. I think if you're looking at a top 3, if you're just looking, Sox take X player at 10, the top 3 names that you should just be fine with, Billy Carlson, JoJo Parker, and Gavin Feen. Feen doesn't seem like he could be a up the middle type, but there are some prospect evaluators that do have him at a 65 future value and as the top player in this entire prospect or in this entire ranking. So I think if you're looking for a top 3, I'm no expert, but I think you would have to go JoJo Parker, Carlson, and Feen in some order. And it's really just, they're at the behest of how the actual draft plays out. So if Carlson and Parker are off the board, they're in a really interesting position where they might have to go with an arm. If a Jamie Arnold of Florida State falls to them, maybe that's a guy that they end up picking. But I would be happy with some prep bat because, as Kevin M. mentions, the Sox system recently has done well with arms. You might as well develop pitching internally. Feels great organizations, but also they haven't been able to identify great talent. We talked about the organization struggling offensively. I think that JoJo Parker could be that savior offensively, and it seems like Billy Carlson could be a shortstop for sure for his entire life, and then it's more about the changing of his swing and the development of him as a hitter. So I think those are the top 2 guys that I want, and if it's Feen, I'll take it. But we'll have you covered tomorrow. We'll have a show on Monday. We'll talk about the first half of the White Sox. We'll talk about their draft pick selections, who they might take even then on day 2. All of that tomorrow on the CHGO White Sox postgame show, or podcast. This is the CHGO White Sox postgame show presented to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Appreciate all of our friends that have hung out with us in the chat. Melissa isn't wrong, too. If Arnold drops, the Sox will take him. Left-handed pitcher, they can't help themselves. So you're not wrong on that. We'll see what the Sox end up doing, and we'll talk about it tomorrow. Again, congratulations to the Sox for this lovely weekend. I thought it was a fun time. You lose 3 or 4 to the Guardians, but oh well. But we were able to get that bobblehead. Shout out to Deshaun for helping us out. Great time celebrating the 2005 team. RIP to our guy, Bobby Jenks. And shout out to Luke. Luke is the guy that I ended up meeting who was in the line to take a picture with the 05 series trophy. And I shook his hand 4 times. I was like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. Man, great to meet you. And I just really, I'm not used to people being like, hey, man, I listened to you. So I was like, man, it's just great to meet you. Awesome. Great to meet you. So I really embarrassed myself. Melissa brings up a point. I was going to bring this up. Joey, we got time, huh?
Yeah, we got time.
All right. Melissa says, and Sean talks us off the ledge regarding Schultz tomorrow. Noah Schultz gave up a 3-run home run to Jose DePaula in the Futures game on Saturday against the NL Future Stars. The biggest thing that I think you have to take away from Noah Schultz this year is the fact that he's just pitching. We have not seen this player get over 100 innings pitched in his professional career. I would love to see him just get over 100 innings pitched, and then let's see where he is after this offseason. Because again, at the end of the day, this kid's 22. This kid is extremely young, is extremely unique. There are not other 6'9" prospects in the top 100 right now throwing from the left-handed side. While the stuff isn't impressive and the stat lines can make you vomit, they're not having him throw his best pitch. And again, at the end of the day, you want him to have the most well-rounded arsenal and be able to go as deep as possible. Right now, I think the arsenal is fine. And I think once he starts implementing his best pitch, being the cutter, I think it will be better. And as long as he can come into 2026 ready to throw 100 innings, that's all I care about. It's an honor to be a NL or AL future star. So the fact that you have Braden Montgomery and Noah Schultz, that's a win for the White Sox. I understand Luis Alexander, Basabe, a part of the 18 trade, right? Like he hits a homer in the Futures game and he ends up doing nothing, right? Like the Futures game isn't a mark of anything. It's just the fact that people think highly of you as a prospect. 2 prospects are thought of very highly by baseball, and that's what I'm taking away. The results aren't good. Oh well, but if Noah Schultz becomes a Hall of Famer, they're not talking about his, performance in the Futures game in 2024 or 2025. Melissa is asking, did he throw any cutters yesterday? I wasn't sure. So I do not know. I did not look at the StatCast stuff for the Futures game, so I'm not sure if he threw any cutters, but he hasn't been throwing cutters for all of AAA, so I would assume that's stayed strong with him. But I should have looked that up, and I didn't, Melissa, so that's my beat. We're going to wrap it up here on the CHGO White Sox postgame show. Justin Goins is asking if the draft starts at 7 or 8. I think it's 7 p.m.
Eastern. I thought
it's 7 Eastern. I thought it was 6 Eastern, 7 Central.
Let's get it right.
Okay, well, let's get it right and let's look it up. Okay. Do 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 do.
I got 6 p.m. Eastern. Yeah.
All right, 6
So
p.m.
5 p.m.
Eastern.
Central. I had it. Yeah.
Wait, 6 Eastern's 5 Central?
Yeah. It just started.
It just started. So we'll have you covered. Make sure you follow at CHGO White Sox. We're going to wrap up the show. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary with our friends over at Bet365. Use code CHGO365 when you sign up. Shout out to the 05 White Sox. We love you. 05 forever. Goodbye.
We all silly like the mayor.